Hey guys, how you doing today? It's me, Kelly. So we're going to do the first page in our art journal. And this is an art journal that I made. I have videos on how I made it. We made the cover, the outside part, and how I put in the pages. This is a very beginner's art journal. There's no sewing. There's no anything except tape and a little bit of glue if you want to do it. And then a little, little things to kind of do it. I didn't do the beads and all yet on here, so let's just do that. So what I thought I would do is I've been working on this little girl here for another odd girl quilt that I do. And so she's my little odd girl today. And I've been drawing and I have different sketches and all that I've done of her. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue her in after I decide the background color. So my eyes are like really weird today. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. So this is the cover and this is the first page and that's what I'm going to do first. And I want to do I think I'm going to gesso both real quick. You don't have to. I just think I'm going to. And I'm not going to gesso like so fantastically because I want some of this pink to still come out. And I have my brush and it's damp and I'm okay with that. And I'm just going to kind of give this a little once through. Not the biggest deal. And of course, go over your tape because the more paint and stuff you put over it, the less chance it'll come up. And you can see I'm just kind of doing this and doing that and a little of this and that. And what I do is, this is my little trick. And I don't care gesso's getting on the other page because I'm going to probably end up gessoing or painting or something on it. So I'll just go with what I have left on my brush and kind of do that. That way I don't cover all of it if I decide to use some of it, but then it's done. And what I like to do on this side is I take a little squirt of water and I take a paper towel, rag, whatever you're using, baby wipe. And I like to wipe some of it off. I think my paper towel has absorbed all that it's going to absorb. And not necessarily all of it. Oh gosh, Kelly, my hands today are like, girl, go to bed. But I'm not. Oh, you're not going to beat me today. Bad hands. Okay. I think you get the gist. I think my paper towel really has seen better days. Because I like use these. I'm so cheap. And I just reuse them. And then at the end of the night when I'm done, this is what I do. And I'm talking glue, glitter, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to hang it and let it dry. So when I come in tomorrow, it's ready to use. And then I refold it and I turn it and I turn it and I wipe. Okay. So you can see how some of that pink still comes through. And you can do a little bit more if you want. Let me show you. We'll just do right there. And you just go over it and over it. And you see how it comes through? There you go. And on this side, I want it like that. I'm going to take my heat gun. And if you don't have a heat gun, use your hair dryer. If you don't have a hair dryer, you can go to your local thrift store or Goodwill. They have them for like $1 or $2. If you don't have the money to do that, which I completely understand, trust me, leave it sit for literally a minute or two. Put on your favorite song or your favorite YouTuber, watch one video, and then you will be ready to go. And I'm okay if some of the background isn't completely dry and it mixes in because, it's just art. It's art and mixed media. Now I'm going to try to stick with more, how do you say, more exciting colors than I normally do because I do a lot of darker colors. So I'm going to take some of my raspberry. It is raspberry ice. It's one of my favorite go-tos. And because I know I'm going to be putting her, and she's going to have to go in the middle because even if she goes over there, she's still... So I'm going to do this, and I'm going to take one of these sponges from Folk Art. It is a natural sponge. I'm going to use a little bit of it, and it's crunchy. So I'm going to wet it. I'm just going to stick it in my water here that's kind of white from the paint, and I'm going in. And then I can use it over here as well if I want to use a little bit. Now, I usually suggest take a piece of paper. Wait, let me do it. Let me do it. Let me do it. Oh, not that piece, Cal. Ugh. I even grabbed the printer paper, so I would do it. Grab it and put it in between, because any excess that, see, like if we go over or whatever, will go on that paper. I'm going to throw some in the middle here of probably every color, because I want that. Look how cool. Look at that. Look, just these really cool. Because when I rinse it, I can go on to another one, and I'll put all the colors in here just to add more strength. So I'm just going to go in the water again and put it in and give it a squeeze. Give me a squeeze, please. Okay, and I'm just going to set it here for a minute while I decide what color I'm going to use next. Now, what I want to do is I want to kind of have this dry for a second. So I'm going to use my heat gun, but of course, you can leave this sit literally for a minute. This is the Martha Stewart satin, and it is just a wonderful, wonderful paint. But of course, use whatever you have, because that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to grab from behind me, and I don't know what I have in there. And I want it dry. It takes an extra minute to dry just because of the satin, but you know, that's nothing. All right. Where the heck did water get in there? Who the heck knows with me? Okay, so that's it. And the only reason I do that is I just don't necessarily want it to all kind of smush together. I want that color, and I think I'm going to go in with some yellow now. And this is just, this is empty as oh, get out. This is lemon yellow. Yeah, lemon yellow. Okay, she did it. She wins. And I'm just going to put a ploop and a ploop. Not much, because again, we're going to sponge, and our sponge is damp. You want it damp like if you're a beauty blender or makeup sponge, like you're doing some face. And then I'm going in. I'm going to go on there a little bit. You can see I'm using, and you see, because I'm going over that pink with the yellow with the sponge, excuse me, I have my incense lit. And it's like, and I just put on my fan, and I swear it's going right into my throat. And I love it, my incense. But as you can see, as I go over that pink, because I dried it, it goes on top of it as well. So it kind of, you know, looks fantastic. It's like a sunburst. I feel like these are Skittles. Not Skittles, Starburst. Starburst, Cal, Starburst. All right, and then I'm going to go over just the yellow real quick, and then I will go over some more over here. And you see, you can rub it, doesn't matter. Just kind of doing that, just kind of doing that. And I love this coming through. So I'm going to do one more color. You can see where it's still a little wet. And again, I'm going to do the same thing. Now this time I'm going to put more paint on this side, because this side needs a little bit more love. And this side's pretty good. I will put my little cutout on there, on this side, and see where else I need it, because there is some white showing through, but I kind of dig it. I might put a light blue, I'm not sure, or a green, I don't know. We're sticking with light colors, so what about if we do some light green? This is Caterpillar. And if you've been with me for any length of time, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Trash is coming to pick up trash. The trucks are coming to pick up trash, and my dog's going to be like going nuts for a minute. And I'm so sorry. I cannot do anything about it. Okay, so let me text my husband. Maybe he can come up and get her. But yeah, so I'm just going to continue doing that. I am so sorry. If I was smart and I edited. I can't grasp it. Okay, so having RA and fibro and having all the medications and the kidney disease, it's just, I just can't do it. I cannot grasp things anymore. I'm lucky. Let me tell you, sometimes, and I know I'm not the only one out there because you guys write me constantly about you guys being in the same boat as me, and I love it. I don't love that you're sick, but I love that I have people who understand, who go through it and don't think I'm just wacko like most of my family. Not Dave and Emily, but sometimes I think they just think, you know, I make it up, but I don't. It can be crazy. And I know you guys know. And you guys always leave me in your comments, or you guys email me your stories. And like I said, I love it. Now I'm going to go over the edge here because I don't know. And I'm going to kind of, you hear it? I'm sliding it. And I'm going to slide it here just to add a little bit of color. And you can see, and again, because it's dry underneath, they're not rubbing together. It looks like I made a tie-dyed shirt. Matter of fact, I'm going to use the same technique on a piece of fabric to make as a background for one of my art girls. And technically, that's what I'm doing right now. Is I like to do this. I like to draw different girls, and I'll show Emily, or get her opinion and see what she thinks. And the same as this kind of thing, use your journal for planning out things sometimes, and that's what I'm doing here. All right, now I'm just going to kind of go, and I'm going to add one more color here, I think. I don't know. I'm digging this a lot. This, I just need one more color. I think I'm going to use a little more pink, but I'll leave it a little more opaque rather than transparent, so I will just do a little ploop, because you don't need much when you're sponging. And like I said, you can go to the dollar store and get the makeup sponges. They even have some of these like C brushes, you know what I'm saying, or sponges. So I'm gonna do this, and look at that great texture. I just want it a little darker. Now you can see what the sponge is doing. It's making its texture, because that's essentially what it is. If you don't like that, of course, go over it a little bit more and it'll push it further into the back. Okay, so let me get my dryer. Plus, these fix so many mistakes. Now I'm going to dry this up here. You see it's a little like bunchy, maybe a little more than I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit more of my yellow, and I'm just going to see the little yellow part right here. I'm just going to do a little. Come on. Oh my God, come on. It's almost gone. Just a little bit. I'm talking a little bit, and I'm going in like this, and then I'll kind of, there we go, kind of break it up a little bit, and then I'll do a little bit of the green. And just use that part of your sponge if you don't want to wash it each time. It depends on what color I'm using and how dry I get it, and that kind of thing. But you see how it pushes that pink to the back now, where it's not as in your face, right? And you can go do that on every piece, so it pushes that to the back. It's a great trick. So now the color that we just put down, the green, is more to our face. So I can go over everything real quick, anywhere I want. Maybe too much, maybe not enough. And oh, there we go. So I'm just going to lay this in my water because, light, because I won't forget to clean it. And I'm going to dry this real quick and then we'll move on. The side is practically dry because I really didn't do much. Okie dokie. So now I have my odd girl. And what I did was I just took some printer paper and after I already kind of had her drawn on regular paper. Okay, I'm sorry. I had to go for a minute to get Dave to get the dog because it was getting on my nerves. So, okay, so I'm back. What we're going to do is we're going to glue her down. Now, what I like to do is I practice sketching her in my sketchbook until I get an idea of what I want. And how I want it. And then, you know, like I said, then I will do it on, this is just printer paper that I'm doing it on. So, you know, it's very easy. You can just sit and draw on printer paper and then I cut her out. So, you know, I know, like, for instance, the way I drew it, I should have cut this a little closer to, but I mean, to put it in my art journal, I'm not worried. I wanted to kind of get a background. So all I'm going to do is glue her down. So I'm going to, this is the Mod Podge paper, which is one of my favorite things. Favorite things. Whoops. Now, you know, printer paper's thin and it, you know, it has its issues. So be patient. Don't rip it. You're going to lay it where it's going to go and call it a day. Now, you see, I'm just kind of straightening it out a little bit. I'm going to push where it's in the middle because that's where I want to make sure it's the, you know, firmest. And then you just kind of push it real good. It kind of looks like an elephant trunk. Okay. And this is how you put anything that you have into your art journal. Let me show you the bottle. This is Mod Podge paper. It's so good. It's fantastic. Okay. So I'm going to give that a second to dry. I don't want it to have any wrinkles. If you're using printer paper, you have it could wrinkle. You just want to, like, every few seconds, because this will dry quickly, the paper, and because it's made for paper, it's not as wet as Mod Podge matte. But of course, use your Mod Podge matte or gloss or whatever you have. Elmer's school glue, white school glue, collage podge, decoupage, whatever. Y'all know. So I just like to go back and forth very lightly just to make sure it has contact. So over here, I'm going to take just a few of my favorite stamps I've been playing with lately. And I'm going to just take black archival ink. Now listen, archival ink is from Ranger and it's permanent, which means once it's dry, it does not move. It's not water soluble. Can you use a water soluble ink here? Of course you can. Can you use, I've been asked to use, maybe I'll use some paint too, just to show you. You can use your acrylic paint, which I'll show you in a minute. You can use, you know, whatever you have. Don't be hung up. Use your watercolor. It doesn't matter. Do watercolor here, put a little bit of water, and then do your stamp in it and do your thing. So I'm just going in. Matter of fact, I used this star with my color, you know, I never remember, color shift. I keep calling it color show. And I'm just going to put some black on here, and I'm going to just stamp. Now, because I am a mixed media artist, my stamp pads stink. And I don't mean like smell. I mean like I use them so much. Put a little one there just to kind of bring it. I use them so much in so many different ways that it just, you know, I ruin them quickly. And this is the cover I did, and I'll have this video at the end of this video. And I'm just going to do a couple stamps here and there just to kind of do it. And you see, look, the harder I push down, the more your stamp will stamp, okay? And remember, when you're using an ink pad, you get more than one stamp. Just keep stamping. You don't always have to have, unless you're making a card or something, which I definitely don't do. you know, you want to make it more clear and concise or precise. I don't know the word, but you want to do it. So, you know, make sure you pay mind to that. So, okay. So now I'm going to take some light blue, and this is Surf. And I'm just going to squirt the littlest bit out on my mat. And I'm going to take these. I've been like loving these stamps. I got this one. You can also see that I use some of that color shift on here as well. I'm going to take my brush. I'm going to clean it off. I'm going to dry it. I don't know why I put it to music in my head, but I do. I'm going in with the paint, both sides, right? And then I'm lightly gonna drag it over the stamp, or you can pat it whatever way you want to do it. And then I'll go in and stamp. And see? Now it's very light, so it's going to be hard for you to see. I'll use a darker color so you guys can see. Maybe I'll use some black, just because it's a little darker. Or gray, whatever this is. All right, I'll just do it both sides of my brush the same. And do it again. I'll run it down like this. And then I'll go and pat it a little bit. Okay. And look, you don't have to stamp the whole stamp. Just do a part. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it. I'm going to bring it a little bit over here. Now, I like having the paper at the end there because you see, you know, it goes over a little bit. So it's kind of getting some on here too. So I'm already starting, like I said, my next mixed media page. So you see, it's delicious. Now, the only thing I'm going to tell you is when I use ink, any kind of ink on my stamps, I don't clean them. However, if you use your acrylic paint, just take a little bit of water, or you throw them in your water that you're rinsing your brush in. I've done that too. And give them, because you don't want the paint to dry on here, because then you won't get those good stamps, you know, when you go to stamp. You know, I'm going to make sure it's all out. And like I said, you could throw it in your water or have a cup of water sit next to you. We could throw it in. Doesn't matter. It's up to you. All right, maybe I'll do another one. Let's see. What do we got? Oh, I like this. This is like some sort of bird. You know what I do? This is a little tip for y'all. I take, because some of these you need those blocks for, which I have, but I'm just too lazy. I will take my stamp and I'll put it on there. And then I can stamp it in my paint, or I can stamp it in my stamp pad. Whoops, like this. Stamp it in, and you have a stamp. So that's my tip for you today. So I'm just going to go in and lightly brush this across the whole stamp. Okay. And then I will go in and stamp. And you see? Do it like that. And like I said, it's just a piece of it. You don't necessarily have to, you know, do all of it. But you see, I just love having fun. Can't help it. All right, and I will wipe this real quick, and then we shall move on. Okay. So let me ask you guys. Let's see. Okay. Now I think I'm going to leave this. I think I might do her hair this color. Let's just do her hair this color, shall we? Since I already have it sitting here, why not? And you can see this is dry. You can see some of the background coming in, but I'm just going in. Let me use my big brush on the bigger parts just to get some of that paint off. But I know I'm not going to be able to use it on the details. Oh my gosh, we're watching Ozarks on Netflix. Oh my goodness, we're on episode 7. I think we have 4 more left. Just Jason Bateman's in it, and Laura Linney, and I can't recall the other ones, but it's really good. I think it's only 10 episodes, but it's really, really good. So if you know, it's kind of like a mystery. It's about a guy who gets involved with a like money laundering drug kind of thing in a business that he had with his partner. And so then they want him to launder money, like to clean the money. So the money that the guy has, he can use without having to worry about being caught. And yeah, so I don't want to tell you too much because I don't want to give anything away. But if you're looking for something to watch, go watch it. It's called what did I say it was called? My brain today. I am so sorry. I'll think of it in a minute. I'm a mess today. I shouldn't even be on video, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Like Ozarks. There you go. You know, it only takes a minute. Ozarks. I do that sometimes. My brain process is slow. I'm gonna wet my brush just the slightest, just to get this a little bit more. I have my fan on and it's drying everything. Ozark, and it's really, really good. Sometimes it takes so long for my brain to process things. I'll be telling Dave or Emily something, and or I'll hear somebody say something. Somebody like Emily says something to me, and I look at her like with this dead look on my face, and she's like, "Well," because she's asking me a question or she said something to me, and it just takes literally like minutes until my brain, you know, kind of communicates what was said. So it just takes a few minutes to process. I don't know. Am I the only one? Maybe I am. Makes me feel stupid sometimes. Especially if it's not with Emily or Dave, because they know, although it frustrates Dave sometimes because I say 5 million sentences and ask him 5 million questions in one sentence. But I don't know if it's medication or the fibro. I don't know what it is, or the RA, and I did take my needle that I take for my RA, which is usually every 2 weeks, on top of all the other medication I take for the RA. And that I took that yesterday. So I'm a little off and a little triggered, I guess. Like not triggered, but nasty. I don't know. No patience. I take Humira because I know somebody will ask. All right, so you see we got that very, very done, very easily. Also, I think I'm going to clean my brush and use this blue that's here. I'm going to squirt it with just the littlest bit of water to like reactivate it so it doesn't dry out all the way, because it'll work good. I'm going to use a little bit of my gesso just because it's here and I'm lazy. And I'm going to use it as the whites of the eyes. And what I do is I just take the littlest bit and I'm just going to go over all of it. Concentrating on those corners. You'll still be able to see the line that you drew. But it's just going to whiten, whiten that up a little bit. But if you have your white paint sitting there, by all means use that. It's just sometimes I'm lazy and my white paint's over there. And then, why? That's my question today. Why? All right, I'm going in with some of that blue. I'm just going to paint it in. It'll be the lighter part of the eye, but it's okay. Nothing wrong with that, is there? So let me tell you, how about, I've already done one of these, but I'll do it again. 1 second. I'm going to go in. It's a little wet there for me. Okay. for anybody who has watched this long, if you go down in the comments, and it doesn't matter if you just won something or you didn't. All right, that one's just taking a little more than I want to do. Where is the blue that I used? Does anybody know where the blue I used is? No, nobody knows. So I'm going to go in with some of the patina that I've sitting here. I don't even know where that blue went. I don't even want to talk about it anymore, that blue. Go down in the comments and put either you've watched the Ozarks or you haven't. And if I pick your comment, and I do it in random.org. I don't, it's just not a like it's not random, but you know, I do like count how many people do it, and then I put the numbers in the random.org, and then I pull a number, and it tells me a number, and then I go and count for the people that do what, you know, because I know there are some people who might watch part of the video or, you know, a little bit of it or whatever, and they comment, because sometimes people comment, and I'm just like, I don't understand quite what they're saying. And then I realized, of course, there's my paint that I did. And then I realized that they didn't watch the whole video, that they watched part of it or what have you. So, which is okay. I get it. This is a long video. But I will give the person that I choose paper Mod Podge, this one, and I will give it to you if I pick you. So go down below, especially because this is a longer video. Go down below. If you've watched this long, put yes, I've watched Ozarks, and then put whether you like it or not. And then if you haven't, say I haven't watched the Ozarks yet, and that's it. Don't put anything. Sometimes people just go down there and read because they know I do these things. So yeah, go down and see. This is the paint that I was using. I'm going to get a little dip of this too, and just go down and see, you know, and I will see who wins. So don't forget. Don't forget to do that, and then you will win that paper Mod Podge, which is fantastic. You see, let me show you. I used it here. Let me tell you, I know people give me crap for, you know, being a plaid ambassador and using folk art and plaid stuff. But let me tell you something. They know what they're doing. And let me tell you, I know you guys have been bugging me to do the watercolor, the Martha Stewart marbling using Mod Podge and white school glue. And I know, because you guys want me to see if we can do it without the plaid stuff. And I'm okay. I'm going to do that. I got people asking me to do it, and then they would send me messages like, oh, you're just not going to do it because, no, I don't care. This is what I started my YouTube video, to find things that we can use at home or cheaper alternatives to do things. So I'm going to do it. I just haven't had a chance to do it. I have a lot of requests. It's the same as if I don't get to your comment. I'm answering a lot of comments, and I'm doing my best. So yeah, so please, you know, I try to be as available and friendly and, you know, reachable and all that kind of stuff. I really do try. And sometimes it just doesn't work out that way for everybody. And I'm really, really sorry. But anyway, look at this. This is thin printer paper. Now, if you have done thin printer paper before, if you've used it, you know that, let me see if I can get this to zoom in a little bit better with autofocus, and I don't. You know, if you've used it before, you know that when you put Mod Podge or white school glue, sometimes it bubbles. This did not bubble. This is stuck to this, and it's printer paper, and you know, that's hard stuff. So, you know, this stuff is fantastic. Now I'm going to use some of my folk art like Flesh, which, if you know me and you've been following me, I've been using folk art, skin tones, and paints for years. I love them. I have all my colors. I mean, look, they're beat up. They're all empty and everything. I use them like crazy. So, you know, I'm just going to go in. But sometimes people get really nasty, and it's like, my goodness, I'm doing YouTube videos for anybody who's willing and wants to watch or learn, or who, you know, wants to do something or whatever it is, the same as everybody else. You know, it's okay if people go, and I'm okay for this. I'm not downing anybody who does this, because I think it's fantastic. But, you know, it's okay for people to go start their own paintbrushes or stencils or whatever. And I think that's great. And like I said, I'm going to be doing that too. But it's okay for that, but it's not okay that I'm a plaid ambassador and I use paints and glue that I've used all the time for years. I mean, this isn't my first rodeo here. I've been doing this stuff for years. People just just drives me nuts. Leave us all alone. If somebody wants to make stencils or brushes and sell them, so what? Don't buy them if you don't want them. If you want them, buy them. If you like the person who, and trust the person that's doing it and, you really want to support them, by all means, please. There's not a darn thing wrong with that. It doesn't make them bad people. It just makes them, do what they want to do and make money at it. There's a million things I wish that I can do that I can't. So leave people alone. Let people do what they want to do. And if you don't want to support them, then don't. Anyway, I'm done. I love Plaid. They are such a great company. And there are many good companies out there. Ranger, the company who does Vintage, I don't know if they're part of Ranger or not. Honestly, at this moment, my brain is fried. But Vintage is such a wonderful company as well. I like companies that let me be myself and do what I want to do and use their product. And they're not up my butt, or anything like that. And if it's like a win-win because the stuff is fantastic anyway, So we all win. I know what it's like not to have money. Believe me, I struggle every day. Every day between medicines and illnesses and bills and, all that kind of stuff. Every single day. Disabled people are not, and I'm on disability, but we are not always treated well. We're made to live on hardly no money and, blah, blah, blah. I've said it all before. Anyway. A little cranky today, can you tell? But I love all of you guys. You guys are all so supportive. And, for the one person that complains, the rest of you are fantastic. And that's what I concentrate on anymore. Let's see if I can find another color shift maybe to put on. But I'm digging her, and I'm going to draw on her stuff. Oh, Kelly. By the way, my texture, I've been asked this a few too, and I just saw this. My texture that I made, listen, hard as a rock. We made that with baking soda. So I'm going to link this video at the end of this video. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. This is texture paste. And it's made with baking soda. It's so good. And I'm almost done it. I got to mix up more. Fantastic. And this is on paper. Come on now. Fantastic. All right, let's see what color we want to do her dress. How about some yellow? I'd like to see, or is that going to be too matchy? That might be too matchy. All right, let's use, can't see the color because I'm blind. Red Flash. Oh, yeah. I don't know, any of you watch The Flash? And I'm asking all these questions today because The Flash is going to be coming back on. Okay. All right, so I'm going to remind you because I'm almost done here to make sure you write your comment down there. I don't care. And another thing, let me tell you, I don't care if you write 6 comments. Like if you're watching my video, because I'm going to tell you what happens to me. I do watch the longer videos that other people do. And sometimes I will write 4 comments. Like I know on Angie's art channel, Angie Lupus Life, sometimes I watch her videos or her live streams that I miss. And I will, like, she'll say something or whatever. And I'm just using it as an example, but I will, I'll comment because I'm like, oh, And then she'll say something else and I got to comment again. And I'm like, oh, you know what I'm saying? So I know, like on my longer, any video really, if you want to comment 6 times because, you know, you're watching it and at the moment you're like, oh yeah, because you don't want to forget, please do. I read them all. Don't think I don't read them all. It's just sometimes I can't comment on them all. Sometimes I go through them, like if I have a doctor's appointment or whatever, and it's like the next day after I post a video, and I'll sit and read them, but I can't comment on all of them at that moment. But I do read them. Here's her big elephant trunk. Look, I can draw an elephant here, put an eye, and then she has an elephant arm. Wouldn't that be fancy? Okay. Okie dokie, okie dokie. Now on this, I would probably put 2 colors. Let me see if you can see. You probably can't see in there. Something's blocking it. What is blocking it? What is blocking it? What is blocking it? Can you see the iridescent though? No, you can't. You can see it in here, but you can't see it. I can see it, but you can't see it. All right, I'm going to put another coat on here. I'm all into polka dots lately. Don't even ask. Don't even ask. Yeah, I can see the iridescent. I'll lift up the page. Maybe that'll be easier. Now, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with the, because, you know, the hands aren't there. I'm going to show you real quick something you can do. Because generally, I don't put hands, like I'll do hands, but I kind of hide them in a sense. I don't know. All she needs here is arms. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to try to show you the color. The lighting is so weird in here today. All right, but before I do that, I'm going to put the arms on. So I'm rinsing my brush. I'm going to dry my brush, get all that off, and then I'll rinse it again because I had a little bit smeared up. Okay. And then I'm going to go back in with my skin color that I used. And you can mix the skin color. I have videos on that too, out of regular colors, your primaries. And then I'll just go in and kind of do a line down here. And I'll trace it once it's done, like outline it. Just a little. I'll do this side. Just like to like touch on the fact that, yeah, I know she has an arm kind of thing, right? Who cares? Okay. Somebody will say, oh, rah, rah, rah. All right, I'm going to dry this. Yeah, see, I can see that color. You can't. Let's see. Yeah, see? Can you see the lighting's crap today? Crap. It's gorgeous. I can't even tell you. Can't show you. All right. So now I'm going to go in for her eyes, and I'm going to take my small brush. I'm going to go in a little bit of this gray I have sitting here that I used for her hair. And I'm going to like roll my brush around in it. Just kind of see what color I get. And I'm going to go around the blue eyes. Yeah. Because it makes it, the gray is like a, it makes it a little blue. Do you know what I mean? And then I'm just going to kind of pull some lines like that through. And then I like just to go like this, just to kind of get up the extra. And then I will take my black. I want black. Yeah, I'm going to use a marker instead. I'm going to use a marker or a dark pencil or something. Let's try that. I'm just going to get a black marker. Whatever you have, Sharpies are great. And I'm going to go in and just do the pupil. And color it in. color it in. No big deal, right? And then color for the lips. What color? You know what I'm going to do for the lips? Some pink. I'm going back into that raspberry because why not? I'm using a small brush. You can use whatever you have. Okay. See? Okay, and I'll take a little bit more of that gray and just do her nose like that. And I probably would, I want to make her hair like a little, where'd my white go? Where'd my white go? I'm going to have to use gesso because I don't even know what the heck I do with my white. I'm telling you what. I'll be surprised if I can find my way out of my art room today. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of white on this brush, just like the littlest bit. And I'm going to go in and kind of just add some kind of like highlights, kind of, you know. Like I said, she's odd. She's an odd girl. You can go and kind of blur it out if you want. Okay. Maybe she has Mickey Mouse ears on. Maybe it's just her, you know, her hair. I'm going to take a little bit of the color that I originally did. Stick my brush in. I'm not even going to clean it. And then I'll go back and kind of go over it so it, while it's still wet, just to push some of it back and, you know. God, I don't even know how long this video is going to be. Okay. And then, again, just playing around, not really, you know. I think on her eyes, I'm going to pick a marker and do blue. Any marker, watercolor, Sharpie. You can get those. You can get the Bics now that they're selling everything for kids for back to school. Watercolor, Crayola, doesn't matter. Matter of fact, I'm going to add some of this. In that blue, and then take a little water on my brush, dampen it off, and see, even though these are permanent, I can kind of move them for a second before they dry. And then I'm going to go back in with a little bit of the paint just to kind of touch it up just the littlest bit. So it all kind of blends. Yeah. A little bit in the middle there. Now you could do two different color eyes. I've done that a million times. I might even do that when I do her as the odd, you know, when I do it. Now, things I love to do, I love to outline. So you can definitely, you know, I love outlining. Do you have to? You don't have to. But you can if you want to. Let me just show you. I wish I had this little teeny waist there. I don't, if you're wondering. Okay. And then you could do little, like little buttons, right? You know, you can go do her eyes. We'll do, this just makes like the bangs a little more sharper. And you don't have to use black. You can use whatever you want. But you see how it just makes everything kind of stand out a little bit more. Oh, that might look like she has a beard, but we're okay. So anyway, that I like to do. And then I like to take a little bit of white, which obviously I cannot find my white at the moment. And I will take the back of my brush, the handle, I'll dip it in, and then I'll just do little highlights, whatever way you want to do them. And then I'll just use my marker because I'm gonna, you guys are gonna be here way too long. It's a sin. Okay, I will do my, this is my quote for the day. You guys might not appreciate it, but I'm gonna write it. I gotta turn this sideways to write. Here we go. This is what I'm living on lately. It's supposed to be an N. Gotta erase that. Look, I got all fancy and then I screwed it up. So again, you can see when these, as soon as you write with these Faber-Castell, this is a big brush pen, or any of the little ones even, you know, if you get it quick enough, you're good. When life gives you shit. Make fertilizer, because fertilizer makes things grow and isn't a bad thing. It's good. I was sitting the other day and I was thinking, somebody on the TV said when life gives you lemons, make lemonade. Now I'm a lemon freak. I love lemons. And I was sitting there, I was like, shit. I was like, when life gives you shit, make fertilizer. Sorry if this offends anybody, but that's what it is. And I should have, I wanted to like make sure my stars were on both sides of that, but, and that is where I'm at today. So sorry, I said a bad word, but that's just her, just a little real quick, you know, and chances are I'll put a skirt on her because I like putting the skirts, and then you can do that and paint this if you want. So please leave me a comment. Let me know what you think. I'm sure I'll be yelled at for the be a word, but sorry. That's just the kind of day I'm having. And yeah, let me know what you guys think. Leave me a comment. I love comments. And as always, please be kind to each other. You never know what battle somebody else is fighting. Look, this is all about progress, not perfection. I am not perfect. I am just trying to progress in my life and make today a little bit better of a day than yesterday. And I hope that you guys can too. And yeah, please share me around. And if you're new to my channel and you would like to be, please subscribe. The button is down below. Click that and then click the bell next to it. It will notify you when I upload, which is usually 5 to 6 times a week. And yeah, I just love you guys. I just love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. I love you guys. So yeah, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.